So guys, welcome to the show. Today I thought of talking a little bit about this new government. This is the first time a president has won in a second round. Currently, Sri Lanka has its third female prime minister. Interesting fact, the first two female prime ministers were also from Sri Lanka in the whole world. Sri Lanka over the last 24 months has been on a growth trajectory. I would also like to take this opportunity to thank the former president for, starting all these great initiatives. As you know, the IMF is visiting Sri Lanka this week. These are good signs for Sri Lanka. Carrying on from there, I would like to ask Nilan, what are your thoughts on the new president? What are some of the things you yourself have observed?
First of all, thank you very much for inviting and, have this kind of discussion. I think I went around Sri Lanka into the south, and yesterday I was in the center part of the country, and I think people look to be happy. They're happy that they have selected a proper president. So as you very correctly said, this is a historical event in terms of selecting a president, and he came out, with a lot of political experiences and educational background as well, a lot of experience in the parliament, and then he knows how people live in this country, differences from top to the bottom. He has already identified the key areas to develop. So these things are very good, positive signs. So when I spoke to especially the younger generation of this country, they are waiting to vote for the second time.
Yes, and parliamentary elections will be very important.
Very important.
Now that people have elected AKD, what we should do is we should give AKD now his mandate to govern. And I'm sure it's something that will take Sri Lanka forward. So, Ishantha, on that note, what are your thoughts?
Well, again, I agree with your comments, Sean, regarding the current president. I think it's important that the people have spoken. The election was done, and I think we need to give the president his space to do his duty. He has been very bold and I think courageous with his decisions. And it's a point of us observing and supporting. And I think even whether it's SJB or whichever party, I think now is not the time of competing and trying to gather seats in parliament and trying to play around with elections. I think it's time that everybody forms an alliance together to take this country forward. People have come in and taken the place, the opportunity without backing down, saying, oh, it's a JVP government, NPP government, or we don't want to be associated. It's good that there's leadership qualities, people coming in, and we have seen in the past people who are already here, who have been here to make a buck, to make money.
There is one more thing to be added, because when you look at the way that they brought their campaign up, there have been so many kind of discussions with the people of the country. It was a totally different political game. I have never seen such a big crowd of entrepreneurs and businessmen coming forward and, supporting some people. I think it is, the magic of AKD which did the turn.
More than anything, everybody has had the chance of running, when I say everybody, we're talking about the opposition leaders, to run this country, and this gentleman got the opportunity after 76 years, if I'm not mistaken. So I think everybody has been tried and tested. He's a new person. I think it's time very formal alliance to join hands and help this government run for the next few years. Because I don't think our economy, neither can any of us take another recession or a downturn, or where people get on the roads and curfew, and we don't want any of that.
We are now at the level where we were default, now we are restricted default. Although our currency is CCC. So, just continuing from there, now obviously Sri Lanka's main issue is going to be economic related. Where do you think we go from here? What should Sri Lanka's priorities be?
I think a priority for the moment is tourism. That is where you get quick income. If you take any other business, you produce, you find your market and then export, and you have to wait till the money comes. But tourism brings money from the day itself. If a tourist come today, he is coming with the money, much needed dollars. So we should do everything to bring more tourists into the country. I think it is one of the key part in this government as well. That's why he has taken the tourism ministry into his hand.
And it is important for us to know that we are the pearl of the Indian Ocean. And apart from exports and tea, we need to focus on tourism, which brings us the main dollar income. I think tourism is number 2. That is all because people love our country because of the referrals of foreigners who have come here. It's the hotel owners, the agencies here that struggle and somehow go abroad, go to OTM and certain trade shows and try to upsell. I think the highest number of tourists we've had was in 2018, if I'm not mistaken, close to 2.2 million. Correct. And just in comparison, Thailand is a beautiful country. It has things that they can showcase. But within that year, 2018, we did 2.2, Thailand did 40 million. And we have a lot to offer. The oceans, the wildlife, the culture, the history, the heritage, the UNESCO sites, whether it's Sigiriya, whether it's Golfort, the hospitality of the people.
So that was a great point that you just mentioned. And Nilan, what are some of the challenges that you see Sri Lanka will face? What do you think those challenges will be?
What we need is stability. You need political stability. You need social stability and peace in this country. So that's why, as you very correctly said, to correct these things is very difficult. But when the peace and the political stability is made, we can take it out from there. When you talk about these things, the president has to take firm actions. Now, the way he's doing things, a lot of things are coming out. And people were frustrated. So this frustration is now disappearing.
Starting to be redressed.
Yeah. And then with the elections, I think more things will happen. So we need a solid government where we take decisions on to solving problems. If you take the history of Sri Lanka, we have been solving problems based on relationships, based on races, based on religions, based on political relationships. This is not going to work. You have to look at the problem and solve the problem then and there, the way it should be. It doesn't matter you are my friend or not. If you have done something wrong, there should be justice. Our people, they are scared to, politicians especially are scared to take decisions. The people are willing to be with the government, especially the young generation, youth.
People are very enthusiastic.
Enthusiastic to help, and even I know some people who are very well educated and earning a lot of money. They are willing to come and work for free to bring the country's economy and help the government and help the people to come out of this mess. This moment we should think of the unity.
We should all come together as Sri Lankans.
As Sri Lankans to help the cause of developing the country.
We should share more good news rather than people like to throw whatever the dirt they can against the president. Some are baseless. For example, I think the first night or second night as president, he was having dinner at a private residence, and there was a photo that was shared on social media saying, "Oh, look at the president, he's eating on gold plates." And he has enough threats. Now he's president, but even prior to it, coming to the election, everybody knew he was going to win. And with all of that, he wants to use his private vehicles, he wants to get off, he wants to do it his own way. And
those send a good message to the international community. And I'm also happy that he had kept the foreign secretary and the treasury secretary.
On the day he was sworn in as president, within the next half an hour, the ambassador of Japan spoke to the president and said, "We would like to get these projects going. Can we start our negotiations again? Can we discuss?" That's very good for FDI for us. It's a very good site because it's not just Japan that's going to come in. UAE, there's going to be a lot of other countries who are going to be interested in foreign direct investments here. So let's not forget we are the lion nations. We've had tsunamis, Easter Sunday attacks, COVID, you name it, but we always fought through whatever we had. We even had them when we had war. Now it's the most important time for everyone to unite together and say, okay, you know what, let's help this government, let's take this forward, let's make sure the checks and balance systems are in place and things are done the right way. It's not just about catching the corrupt people. There has to be a system in place, or else the next lot that comes in can do the same thing. Whether it's a tender process or whichever, the system has to be in place. If the system is in place, nobody can play with tenders. So I think that's what's important for things to be more
That last point you mentioned made me feel really proud to be a Sri Lankan, because we have been through thick and thin. I mean, we defeated terrorism. We defeated a terrorist force. This is the terrorist force that had the first Air Force and Navy as well. And as you mentioned, we went through Corona, we went through Easter Sunday, and we're still standing tall. And I would just like to say to the audience, we came here today as Sri Lankans to talk about how we can move forward. And I'm glad that we had such an insightful discussion, and I'm sure we'll have another one. I wish all the best to the new president of Sri Lanka. So far, so good. Thank you.